The Seven. The absolute pinnacle of human evolution. Majestic gods in tight, custom-made spandex, saving cities, and looking completely flawless on giant Times Square billboards. Pop culture tells you these heroes were chosen by destiny, blessed with natural-born miracles to protect the innocent from the dark forces of evil. Sounds like an incredible, inspiring dream. But I have some terrible news for you. None of it is real. In the universe of The Boys, every single superhero is just a highly commercialized, dangerous biological product, manufactured in a dirty laboratory by an evil corporation and paid for by their own greedy parents. Getting superpowers isn't a blessing from God. It is a terrifying, painful medical scam. A lifelong contract with no right to resign. Imagine having the power to level a skyscraper, but you legally cannot go to the bathroom without a permission slip signed by a 22-year-old marketing intern. You are not a god. You are just a walking trademark. A meat puppet designed to sell toxic energy drinks and bad movie sequels to teenagers. Let's look at the dark history of how these miserable corporate assets were actually made. To understand how the Seven got their powers, we have to look back at the original recipe, Compound V. It wasn't invented to save American children. It was created in the 1940s by a brilliant but completely sociopathic German scientist named Friedrich Vaught, working directly for the Nazi regime. His first successful lab rat was his own wife, who later became Stormfront. Friedrich injected her with a pure, unrefined dose of the blue chemical, giving her permanent youth, electrical blasts, and a severe case of unhinged racism. She wasn't a hero. She was a walking 20th century hate crime covered in leather. Soon after, Vaught realized that war was a bad business model compared to American capitalism. They moved to the United States and started their first superhero boy band called Payback, led by Soldier Boy. How did Soldier Boy get his powers? Simple. He was a wealthy, lazy brat from a rich family who flunked out of every elite boarding school. His father hated him, so he bought his way into Vaught's experimental program. They pumped him full of Compound V, making his skin hard enough to survive a machine gun, and his brain dumb enough to believe he actually fought in World War II. He didn't save Normandy. He just posed for propaganda photos, smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, and beat up his own teammates for fun. Payback was a total disaster. Crimson Countess could shoot fire, but mostly used it to burn down local animal shelters by accident. Gunpowder was just a guy with an unhealthy obsession with firearms. And Mindstorm could read minds, which naturally drove him completely insane, forcing him to live in a wooden shack in the middle of nowhere, terrified of his own shadow. This was the glorious foundation of Vaught's superhero division. But wait, if you think a racist grandmother and a fake World War II veteran are bad, you are not ready for modern corporate greed. Vaught looked at these disasters and thought, what if we do this, but make it look like a Disney movie? Let's talk about the generation that actually has to deal with public relations. Enter product number 1, Homelander, the golden boy of America. He can fly, shoot lasers, and survive a nuclear blast. But he didn't have a childhood. He didn't have parents. He was grown inside a cold, dark, sterile Vaught basement, injected with massive doses of Compound V while still a microscopic fetus. He was raised by cold scientists in lab coats who tested his laser eyes on bulletproof glass and treated him like a dangerous $1-million kitchen appliance. They didn't give him a family. They gave him a lifetime of severe emotional instability and a deeply disturbing psychological fixation on warm breast milk. He is not a god. He is just an oversized toddler with nuclear codes who cries when his public approval rating drops by 1%. Then we have Black Noir. His superhero origin is a pure corporate horror story. He was a regular athletic guy who signed a contract, wanting to be a cool, silent ninja. But during a terrible military operation in Nicaragua, his skull was brutally cracked open by a machete, and his brain was permanently melted. Vought didn't give him a pension or health insurance. They just put him in a black suit, turned off his vocal cords, and used his brain-damaged loyalty as a free assassination tool for 30 years. He can't even eat regular food. He just sits in corners hallucinating cartoon animals. Executive performance at its finest.
Now, hold on to your corporate badges, because while Homelander is a psychological wreck, Vought also created heroes whose powers are so stupidly inconvenient they should legally qualify for a disability check. Let's look at the trash tier of the 7. Let's talk about Translucent, the Invisible Man. His superpower sounds like a dream for a spy. Vought injected him with a serum that turned his skin into a hard, diamond-hard carbon metamaterial. But here is the catch. To actually use his invisibility, he has to be completely naked every single time. Imagine being a world-famous celebrity, but your entire job description involves walking around corporate offices completely nude, freezing your skin off, just to spy on people in the bathroom. He isn't a legendary hero, he is a legally protected corporate voyeur who ended up exploding into a million pieces because someone put a stick of dynamite where the sun doesn't shine. A truly explosive career end. And then we have the Deep, the Lord of the Seven Seas. His origin story is a literal biological disaster. After his parents sold him to Vought for a tax write-off, his body mutated, growing giant, slime-covered gills directly on his torso. Instead of a majestic king of Atlantis, he became a social joke. He can hear the internal depression of sea cucumbers, gets panic attacks from floating plastic bags, and has highly illegal, romantic relationships with octopuses. His superpower is literally a permanent passport to the nearest seafood restaurant, where he cries over dead lobsters and gets kicked out for trying to marry a dolphin. If you are still watching this, congratulations. You have a longer attention span than a Vought marketing executive. But we are not done yet. Because some members of the 7 didn't just get mutations, they had to sacrifice their actual organs just to make their parents rich. Now look at A-Train, the fastest man alive. He wasn't born with speed. He was an ordinary kid from a poor neighborhood whose parents really wanted a luxury apartment. They pumped his baby veins full of blue chemicals. Sure, he became fast, but Compound V turned his cardiovascular system into a ticking time bomb. To keep his racing contract, he has to abuse the drug daily, leading to massive heart attacks, extreme paranoia, and accidentally turning random pedestrians into a red, watery soup. He is not a hero. He is a fast-moving medical emergency who spends more time running from drug tests than running from villains. Queen Maeve, the warrior princess. Her story is the ultimate cautionary tale about toxic stage mothers. Her mother pushed her into Vaught's chemical program, hoping for a golden ticket out of poverty. Maeve got super strength, but her bones had to harden while breaking under the weight of her new muscles. She traded her actual health for 20 years of corporate depression, severe alcoholism, and fake public relations. She is forced to smile on television while knowing her entire life is owned by a marketing department. Which brings us to the final product, the newest asset on the corporate shelf, the one they sold as the most innocent girl in America, Starlight. The innocent girl next door. Her mother literally signed a corporate waiver allowing Vought scientists to use her newborn baby as a chemical lab rat. They injected a literal infant just to see if her eyes would light up like a cheap flashlight. Now she can absorb electricity, but she also absorbed enough corporate stress to ruin her mental health. So, the next time you look at your regular 9-to-5 job and wish you could shoot lasers or fly, just remember, in the universe of Vought, a superpower is just a profitable medical deformity. And your parents probably would have sold your soul for a corporate discount on groceries. Subscribe for more miserable realities. Vought will replace you in the next quarter. Goodbye.